Little town, little quiet village, every day like the one before. Little town, full of little people, waking up to say bonjour.
And what do you listen to these days?
A lot of I have a 4-year-old daughter, so
Yeah.
Disney soundtracks.
Okay, I see.
Faster and faster and faster to you. Make me believe that there's a reason to stay.
Talk about women like ignorant assholes. The only opinion that matters is mine. Me and the old guy go back to the loan shark. Give them our paychecks and ask for some more. Go home to nothing, nothing and no one. Drink the whole bottle and pass out on the floor. I wanna know. And if I could hold you, sure.
Happy birthday to you.
And many more. My truck drives a truck. My beer drives a truck. My woman drives a truck. Drinking beers in my truck.
Is the truck that's driving the truck God?
No, it's Jesus. God is omnipresent. Jesus has hands.
So most of my efforts this week have gone into actually making this video or making the podcast version of it. I don't know if that's good or bad, but that's what happened. I got a bunch of monologue stuff that I didn't use last week and it's relevant this week. So let's cue it up and see how we did. Deal with it. So you think you want all this stuff to come in, like whatever the thing is, attention or money or like demand, probably. In the case of a musician at my level, it's probably demand. You think you want it, but if you're not ready for it, if you've got all this stuff that hasn't even been finished yet, like when's it going to get done if you get busy? So we got to do it now. Drum roll and show the clipboard. Release the video from Glowfest 2022. Finish and release the videos from Glow 23. Organize merch. Make it available online. Build a merch display, a physical merch display for shows. Finish the songs of these songs, singular, I've been working on with Corey. Finish these songs, multiple, I've been working on with Adam, that have been lingering for a couple of years now. Shoot 2 live videos with Naomi. Let people know I'm available. I gotta get out there, get gigging. I got some steady work for the summer, but it's gonna dry up soon. And the last one is find the Anthony Hopkins TikTok. In addition to my usual film and edit a video, edit that into a podcast, release both, and actually practice my supposed real craft. And the video and podcast thing are new to my schedule since I started doing this. So this week, out of 5 weekdays, 4 of them have gone into producing this show. Monday, Tuesday, I worked on flipping it into a podcast. I also went to the beach. Wednesday, I worked on comping the vocals, which is my big hang up for the song I've been working on with Corey. Listen to my new song, reflecting on my day of work and being like, does any of this matter? You know, you're going for phrasing, lyrics, and pitch tuning, which is the hardest part for me because this song is like at both edges of my vocal range. I have to sing as low as I can and as high as I can. I thought that would be a cool challenge, but it's a challenge. You still got to be able to do it. You still got to be able to do it. It's weird. I'm looking at the screen. I'm not really looking at the camera. All right. Hello, camera. I also got a haircut. I don't know if you can tell. I heard this or I read this somewhere. Don't know who said it, but they said planning is guessing. And I found that really a liberating thought. Man, it's like Hair Metal Friday in here. Just wrote that. What do you think? 40 years too late or what? Or right on time? AC/DC, right? I don't know if you ever read that book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. It was in the staff room at my work one day and, you know, a stack of books that people could just borrow. So I read it. It has this concept that we sabotage ourselves by constantly responding to what's urgent. It's a little more complicated than that, but the gist is on an evolutionary level, we are wired to just be on the lookout for threats, right? Constantly scanning the horizon for somebody who might want to kill us. That's not the case most of the time for most of us, thankfully, in this part of the world at this time. But if you are in a place where there's not a constant threat of violence, this is actually a liability because it just keeps you distracted. You know, an emergency flares up, you deal with that. Another one flares up, you deal with that. If you work in a place that's prone to emergencies, or you just like know someone who's prone to emergencies, that can end up taking up a lot of your time. You know, maybe you have kids. They are prone to emergencies. Maybe it's a family member. Maybe it's a friend. We don't know. That ends up taking over whatever your plan for the day was. And then stuff like the list I just read to you, it's easy for it to not get done. It just piles up and stays piled up because it's like, well, I don't have a release date in mind for any of these things. And before I release it, I should figure out how I'm going to release it. So there's no point in like, I don't really need to finish it if it's not going to get released anytime soon. And then it just goes back on the shelf, you know, that's very easy to do. So our days fill up and we never get to what's truly important. That's why we have to do the stuff on the list first, so it actually gets done. You need to have the discipline, or like you need to make yourself do it when you don't need to yet. For somebody like me, that's hard to do. I kind of need the pressure. I saw a guy on Instagram who was talking about people with ADHD he said emotional urgency to get a task done. You know, it has to feel urgent. And if these are things that are just important and not urgent, there you go. Once we've cleaned up our physical space, we're going to clean up our digital space. This is moving forward. Everything I've listed above is great for building your scene locally, and that's where we're at, and that's what we're looking to do. That's what we're about, primarily. True. I wrote it. I still agree with it. Streams and followers only matter once you're trying to expand. Until then, they're a waste of time to focus on. Even though this is how you get judged and it's like a thing that's like, it's important, you know, and it is once you want to advance, you want to get booked at a festival, you better have more than 670 Instagram followers, or you better be like, you have to have some vibe about you that you're on the rise. And if those things are absent, then you have to be really good live. But you still have to convince somebody to take a chance on you because you're not selling tickets. It's like that kind of thing. If you want people who don't already know you, who have a stake, probably who can help you along in your career, they either need to really believe in what you're doing, or they need to see like this is some action that they can get in on. But until you're at a point, and everybody's in a hurry to get to that point, until you're at a place where you're actually like trying to expand beyond what you can do on your own in the place you are with the resources that are around you, once that stuff is no longer as pressing, that's when it becomes important. Until the point that you get there, that stuff is a massive distraction, and it's like addictive and blah, 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 is trying to convince you 24/7 that it's the most important thing. And people who are desperate to get ahead can focus on that. But you don't have a business then. And then also more importantly, if you're like me, that's just adding fuel to the fire. It's like adding chaos to a situation that's already a little bit chaotic, but like manageable. Like I got this to-do list, but stuff is just sitting around. Nobody is like freaking out because it's not done yet. Dump a bunch of other stuff on my plate, and then all of a sudden, how could I ever get it done? And it just doesn't. And then it's next year and I'm still talking about the same thing. But online, people are still coming in, as noted by my new friend Peter. Found me online. People are still coming in to our digital space, and we want to ensure the place is at least presentable, even if we're somewhat absent hosts. So that's what we're going to look at next week. And then the following week, we're going to look at booking local shows. I'm going to really put a push on to get some live stuff happening. And so we're going to look at what you need to do in order to make that happen. With those things on my to-do list for the following 2 weeks, and you notice that social media strategy is still not part of this, that rehearsing a band is still not part of this. You can see how having these things lying around is becomes a liability. But on the plus side, tomorrow's my birthday. That's all the excuse I need to release my video that I've been sitting on for a while. So that's going to be cool. I'm excited for that. And that's one off the to-do list. So I've got to prioritize my to-do list, because not all of, even in that list, some of those things are more pressing than others. When am I actually going to do them? See you next time.